They fired me effective immediately. The words came across that polished conference table like a punch to the gut. Linda Foster, our new CEO, didn't even look up from her tablet when she delivered the news. Mid-30s, sharp blazer, McKinsey consultant written all over her posture. She was scrolling through spreadsheets with that red stylus, circling line items like they were personal enemies. I'm Carl Mitchell, 55 years old, and I've spent the last 32 years making sure American cars don't kill people on the highway. Not the kind of work that looks impressive in PowerPoint presentations, but the kind that keeps families safe when they're driving home from Sunday dinner. The kind of work that matters when your daughter calls to say she made it to college safely in that car you helped ensure was built right. I sat there, fingers automatically adjusting my micrometer out of habit, watching her perform what she thought was decisive leadership. Transition will be immediate, she continued, still avoiding eye contact. We're bringing quality management in-house. More efficient, better cost control. Behind her sat two people I'd never seen before. Nancy Turner from HR, clutching her tablet like a life preserver, and Gary Sullivan, some expensive consultant who probably learned quality control from business school case studies. No one from the floor, no one who'd ever held a precision gauge or understood what happens when measurements drift by 0.0001 inches. She finally looked up, her expression somewhere between bored and irritated, like I was wasting her valuable time by still breathing. Before you go, she said, tapping that stylus against her tablet, hand over the quality control system, all of it. Access credentials, calibration protocols, documentation. We need everything by end of business today. The room went quiet. Nancy shifted in her seat. Gary stopped typing on his laptop. I didn't move, just sat there, letting my thumb trace the graduated markings on my micrometer while the silence stretched. Linda's eyebrow raised slightly. Is there a problem? I smiled. The kind of smile you give someone when you know something they don't. I'm afraid I can't do that. Her stylus stopped mid-tap. Excuse me. The system, I continued, voice steady and professional. It's not yours to take. Linda's confident posture shifted just slightly. A flicker of confusion crossed her face before the corporate mask returned. We paid for development. That makes it company property. I shook my head slowly, feeling the familiar weight of my precision tools in my pocket. You paid for operational access, not ownership. The distinction is outlined clearly in Section 7 of your service agreement. Gary leaned forward, whispering something to Linda. She waved him off, eyes locked on mine. This is absurd. You can't hold company infrastructure hostage. I'm not holding anything hostage, I replied. I'm simply clarifying what you legally control, which as of this moment is absolutely nothing. What Linda Foster didn't know, what her consultant and her HR team and her entire cost optimization plan had completely missed, was that the quality assurance system running Apex Automotive's entire operation wasn't software sitting on their servers. It was custom-built calibration infrastructure I owned personally, controlled from precision equipment they'd never seen in my home workshop. And when they terminated my contract 3 minutes ago, they just disconnected themselves from the only thing keeping their quality measurements reliable across 8 facilities. In 72 hours, that oversight would cost them everything, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me back up and show you exactly how a quality control engineer with 32 years of Ford experience got fired by someone who thought automotive safety was just a dashboard metric. I started at Ford right out of college back when American manufacturing meant something. Spent 12 years on the floor before moving into quality systems. Learned early that precision isn't about digital readouts and statistical reports. It's about understanding how physical measurements interact with real-world tolerances under actual production pressure. When Ford started their efficiency improvements in 2019, I saw the writing on the wall, watched 400 good people lose their jobs because some consultant convinced management they could maintain the same quality standards with half the workforce. That's when I went independent. Built my first custom quality system in 2020 for a Tier 2 supplier in Michigan. Word spread quietly through industry circles. The kind of reputation that gets you calls when someone's quality ratings are tanking and their MBA consultants have no clue how to fix them. I don't have a fancy LinkedIn profile. Don't post about Industry 4.0 synergies or digital transformation journeys. My clients find me when their defect rates are climbing and their customer audits are failing. That's how I ended up working with Apex Automotive Components 4 years ago. Steve Morrison, their VP of operations at the time, called me on a Thursday afternoon. His voice had the tight edge of someone staring at disaster. "Carl, we just failed our third customer audit in 4 months," he said. "GM is threatening to drop us from their supplier list. I need someone who understands how this actually works, not another consultant who learned quality from textbooks." Steve was old school, came up through the ranks, spent years running production before moving into management. He understood that behind every clean dashboard and automated report, there's physical equipment that has to measure accurately every single time. When I walked into their main facility that first day, the chaos was immediately obvious. Quality stations running with uncalibrated instruments, measurement data that didn't correlate between shifts, inspection results that made no sense because nobody knew when the equipment was last properly calibrated. "We've got 8 different measurement systems that don't talk to each other," Steve explained, walking me through the quality lab. "Morning shift uses one calibration standard, afternoon shift uses another. Night shift is basically guessing because half their gauges are out of spec." I spent the next 14 months building them a real system, not some off-the-shelf package that kind of works if you bend your entire operation to fit it. Custom calibration protocols that synchronized every measurement device across all 8 facilities. Precision standards that actually predicted equipment drift before it affected product quality. Real-time tolerance monitoring that caught variations at the source, not at final inspection. The results were immediate and measurable. Defect rates dropped from 2.8% to 0.05%. Customer audit scores that made their OEM buyers actually compliment them. Steve would send me detailed quarterly reports, not corporate thank you notes, but substantive analysis of quality improvements and cost reductions. When you're talking about automotive parts, those numbers aren't just statistics on a spreadsheet. Every 0.1% improvement in quality means fewer families stranded on highways, fewer emergency room visits from failed components, fewer phone calls in the middle of the night telling someone their kid didn't make it home. I sleep better knowing the brake components I help inspect are built right. The contract was crystal clear because I'd learned this lesson the hard way years ago. They licensed operational access to my quality system. I retained complete ownership of all calibration protocols, measurement algorithms, and precision equipment. Steve signed without hesitation because he understood the difference between using something and owning it. For 4 years, everything ran perfectly. Monthly payments arrived on schedule. The system performed exactly as designed. Steve would call occasionally with questions about new equipment integration or customer requirement changes, always respectful of the boundaries we'd established. Then Steve retired. Linda Foster arrived 2 weeks later with her MBA from Stanford and her tablet that probably cost more than most people's monthly car payment. Her first communication wasn't a greeting or introduction. Subject line, third-party vendor cost analysis. The email was pure corporate optimization language about recurring expenditure structures and dependency risk reduction. My invoice hadn't changed in 4 years. Same amount, same delivery schedule, same scope of work. But Linda saw a line item on a budget sheet and immediately assumed there was fat to trim. I replied professionally, attaching the original contract and a summary of system performance metrics over the past 48 months. Her response came back within 2 hours. "Need to schedule comprehensive review of all external service dependencies. Please prepare full documentation for internal assessment of operational systems." Operational systems. That phrase told me everything I needed to know about Linda Foster. She was the type who thought complex quality infrastructure could be understood by reviewing slide decks and reading executive summaries. 3 days later, the email arrived that confirmed my suspicions. Subject line, System Architecture Documentation Request. Linda wanted a complete copy of the system for internal assessment and potential transition planning. She didn't want to review our service agreement. She wanted to take my system and eliminate the monthly payment. I sent back a response that was technically accurate and deliberately unhelpful. "Happy to provide all materials included under your current operational license." Then I walked out to my garage workshop, sat down at the master calibration bench I built specifically for Apex's system, and started preparing Linda Foster's education in the difference between access and ownership. 2 days after my documentation response, another email landed. Subject line, Intellectual property clarification. Linda wanted written confirmation that all operational quality protocols belong to Apex Automotive Components. Operational quality protocols. That's what she called 4 years of custom calibration algorithms, precision measurement standards, and real-time tolerance monitoring. Like it was a commodity asset she could inventory and reassign. I screenshot the relevant contract clause and sent it back. Bold text impossible to misinterpret. All system architecture, calibration protocols, measurement algorithms, and precision infrastructure remains the exclusive property of Carl Mitchell. Licensed for operational use only, no transfer, replication, or derivative development permitted without explicit written authorization. Steve Morrison had understood that clause perfectly when he signed it 4 years ago. You don't buy a custom quality system like you're purchasing office equipment. You license access to precision infrastructure that took years to develop and requires constant maintenance from the person who built it. Linda's response arrived 4 hours later. We will be transitioning to internal quality management effective immediately. Final payment will be processed per contract terms. Thank you for your service. That was it. No discussion, no transition planning, no acknowledgement that she was about to disconnect the central nervous system of an 8-facility quality network. Just corporate speak for you're done and we're keeping your work. I sat at my workbench for a long moment, fingers unconsciously adjusting a precision gauge while I stared at that email. Then I walked over to my calibration console. Inside that converted 2-car garage sat the physical control infrastructure I'd built specifically for Apex's network. Custom measurement standards with dedicated circuits for every major quality station. Dimensional calibration, surface finish monitoring, hardness verification, coordinate measurement synchronization, all of it flowing through precision instruments I'd assembled and programmed by hand. The system wasn't just software running on their servers. It was 89 quality stations across 8 facilities, all synchronized to master calibration standards, sitting right here in my workshop. Every measurement they made, every tolerance check they ran, every quality decision they reported to their customers, all of it depended on precision references that lived in my garage. Linda Foster had no idea that calibration bench existed. She thought the system was software running on Apex servers. She was about to learn the difference between a user interface and actual measurement control. 4 days after her termination email, a calendar invite appeared. Systems transition meeting Friday 9 a.m. Eastern. No agenda, no context, just a meeting title suggesting she expected this to be a simple handoff conversation. I joined the video call 2 minutes early. Professional appearance, clean button-down shirt, background showing my home workshop with my quality certifications and 32 years of Ford Service Awards visible on the wall. Linda logged in 3 minutes late, settling into her chair with a satisfied expression of someone who thinks they've solved a complex problem with simple cost-cutting. Randy Coleman from IT joined next, then Nancy Turner, with her tablet ready to take notes. Steve Morrison was nowhere on the call. Not surprising. He'd probably advised against this entire approach, and Linda had decided his operational experience wasn't relevant to modern business strategy. Carl, thanks for joining, Linda began, her tone suggesting this was routine administrative business. We've made the decision to bring quality management in-house. Appreciate all your work up to this point, but we're ready to assume direct operational control, assume control, as if navigating through dashboards was the same thing as running precision measurement infrastructure. I kept my expression neutral, thumb automatically finding the adjustment wheel on my micrometer. You're terminating the license agreement? Correct, Linda said, leaning back like she expected praise for her decisive leadership. We'll need complete handover of all calibration databases, measurement protocols, and system credentials, standard transition process. Randy nodded along. Nancy typed something into her tablet. They had this choreographed like routine vendor management. You're not licensed to access the core calibration infrastructure, I said calmly. Your agreement covers operational use of measurement outputs. You never purchased ownership rights. Linda's confident smile faltered slightly. We paid for development of this system, Carl. That makes it company intellectual property. This is standard business practice. You paid for operational access to functioning quality measurements, I replied. You never bought the underlying technology. That distinction is outlined explicitly in Section 7 of your contract. She glanced off camera, probably pulling up the contract on another screen. I waited while she scanned through language that Steve Morrison had reviewed carefully with their legal team 4 years ago. Look, she said, attempting to regain control. We understand there might be some technical nuances here, but we're prepared to handle operations internally going forward. Just provide whatever documentation you have so we can maintain service continuity. I'll provide everything you're legally entitled to receive, I said, feeling the familiar weight of my precision tools, nothing more. The silence across the video call was sharp. Randy looked uncomfortable. Nancy stopped typing. Linda's jaw tightened as she realized this wasn't going to be the smooth asset transfer she'd planned. "That'll be fine," she said curtly, trying to end the call quickly. "We'll expect full delivery by close of business today." I didn't respond, just sat there looking directly into the camera while she fumbled with her mouse, clearly wanting to disconnect before I could complicate her timeline further. The screen went black. I closed my laptop. Linda Foster thought she understood quality control because she could navigate software interfaces and review quarterly performance reports. She had zero comprehension of the physical infrastructure, the custom calibration hardware, the specialized protocols, or the precision knowledge required to keep it all functioning. She was about to get an expensive education. I walked out to my workshop and powered up the calibration console. Every indicator showed green. Measurement systems synchronized across 8 facilities. Tolerance monitoring updating in real time. Precision algorithms running flawlessly across 89 quality stations. Then I started building Linda's transition package. Professional-looking documentation with clean diagrams and impressive technical language. User interface screenshots showing dashboard layouts and data visualization panels. Everything polished and official and completely useless without access to the underlying calibration systems. I spent 4 hours creating exactly the kind of deliverable Linda expected to receive. Visual materials that would make her think she'd gotten what she needed to operate independently. Interface mock-ups with animated displays. System diagrams showing logical flow of operations, all of it disconnected from actual measurement infrastructure. By 4:30 p.m., I had a comprehensive package ready. I attached it to an email with a single line. Quality interface documentation provided per contract termination. Back-end calibration infrastructure access not included per licensing agreement. I hit send and watched the message disappear into Apex's corporate email system, where Linda would soon discover the difference between owning a dashboard and owning the engine. Then I walked back to my workshop, sat down at the master calibration console, and placed my hand on the primary synchronization switch. The real education was about to begin. The next morning, I drove to Blue Ridge Quality Cafe like it was any other Friday. Small place near the interstate where Carol Jenkins had been serving me the same order for 3 years. Black coffee, wheat toast, scrambled eggs. She nodded when I walked in, poured the coffee without asking, and left me alone with my laptop. I opened the administrative console and brought up the main calibration dashboard. Every indicator glowed green. Precision flowing smoothly through 89 synchronized measurement stations across 8 facilities. Quality control systems cycling efficiently through 34 inspection points. Everything Linda Foster thought she now controlled was actually flowing through the custom calibration hardware sitting in my garage workshop 15 minutes away. At 8:42 a.m., my phone buzzed with a text message from Linda, having difficulty accessing calibration interface. Please provide admin credentials immediately. I stared at the message for about 10 seconds, then deleted it without responding. At 8:47 a.m., I flipped the synchronization switch. The dashboard on my screen froze instantly. Every green indicator went gray. Real-time calibration feeds dropped to 0. Precision synchronization stopped mid-cycle. The entire Apex quality network just stopped measuring accurately. I took a slow sip of coffee and watched 4 years of perfect precision die in complete silence. The system didn't crash or throw error messages. I designed it to disconnect gracefully. No alarms, no warning indicators, no dramatic shutdown sequences, just clean separation from all measurement control. If someone tried to restart the user interface, it would load perfectly and display the last cached data, creating the illusion that everything was still working. But underneath, nothing was actually calibrating with anything else. For the first 30 minutes, nothing appeared wrong to casual observation. Dashboard displays still showed green status indicators. Quality inspectors looking at their screens would see normal measurement readings and tolerance compliance. Assembly workers already at their stations would continue following their last received specifications, but no new calibration data was flowing anywhere. I pulled up the live facility camera feeds I'd integrated into the monitoring system. At 9:14 a.m., I watched a coordinate measuring machine sit motionless at Station 12, waiting for a calibration update that would never come. The quality queue kept building, creating a backup that would cascade through the entire inspection process. At 9:23 a.m., 2 quality inspectors arrived at the same measurement station. According to their handheld displays, both had valid calibration assignments for Inspection Bay 7 at the northern facility. The conflict prevention algorithm wasn't running by 9:35 a.m. The ripple effects became visible across the network. Quality bottlenecks at 11 major measurement points, inspection backlogs forming at critical checkpoints, scheduling systems showing everything calibrated and synchronized, but ground reality telling a completely different story. I refreshed my email inbox. Nothing yet. They were probably still trying to figure out why the calibration management system wasn't responding to login attempts. At 9:44 a.m., the first confused email arrived. Subject line, quick question, measurement sync delay. Hey Carl, seeing some weird lag on quality updates. Can you take a look when you get a chance? Thanks, Tony Martinez. Tony was one of their senior quality supervisors, former Air Force, good instincts. He'd figure out what was happening eventually, but right now he was just seeing symptoms. I didn't respond. By 9:58 a.m., the emails were arriving every few minutes. Calibration data not refreshing. Tolerance metrics frozen. Multiple inspectors showing same station assignment. Still polite, still assuming this was some kind of technical glitch that could be resolved with a quick phone call. At 10:03 a.m., my phone started ringing. Unknown number with Apex's area code. I let it go to voicemail, then another call from a different number, then a third. The panic was beginning. I pulled up the system connection logs and watched failed authentication requests hammering uselessly against the demonstration package Linda's IT team was trying to operate as live infrastructure. Hundreds of failed handshake attempts. Every request bouncing back empty because there was no actual system behind the interface. They were trying to run quality control using only a photograph of the calibration room. By 10:25 a.m., the situation had deteriorated significantly. Quality gridlock at 18 major measurement points across 4 states. Inspection conflicts at 29 different stations. Production schedules falling behind by an average of 85 minutes across the network. And somewhere in a corporate office, Linda Foster was probably staring at user interface screens that still showed everything functioning normally, wondering why reality didn't match her data. At 1:32 a.m., an email arrived with red priority flags. Subject line, UArgent, critical quality failure. Multiple measurement conflicts. No response from calibration controls. Tolerance assignments completely desynchronized. This is affecting customer deliveries and audit schedules. Need immediate support. Please respond ASAP. Randy Coleman, IT Director. The corporate politeness was cracking. They were starting to understand this wasn't a minor technical issue. I closed the email without reading the rest and checked the impact calculator I'd built into my monitoring tools. Conservative estimate, 850,000 in daily losses from quality failures, missed schedules, and measurement violations. Real number was probably higher once you factored in customer penalties and audit failures. My phone buzzed with a text from Linda, emergency situation. Call immediately. I deleted the message. At 10:46 a.m., the phone rang again. This time, the caller ID showed Apex Legal Department. I declined the call and watched it roll to voicemail. Then another call from a blocked number. Declined. By 11:00 a.m., I had 43 missed calls and 22 unread voicemails. The 8-facility quality network was experiencing what Ford would have called a cascading measurement failure. Nothing was calibrating with anything else. Quality inspectors were making decisions based on stale data. Supervisors were issuing conflicting instructions. Production managers were trying to manually assign measurement schedules while their computers insisted everything was running smoothly. I opened a new document on my laptop and started typing emergency system restoration proposal terms, payment, due via wire transfer before reactivation, rate. 5 times standard monthly fee for immediate restoration service. Duration, 96-hour emergency window. Conditions, full acknowledgement of service terms and intellectual property ownership. I attached the document to an email addressed to Linda Foster, legal counsel and the operations director. Subject line, emergency restoration services available. Then I hit send and ordered another cup of coffee. The education phase was complete. Now came the negotiation. At 11:53 a.m., the calendar invite arrived. Emergency conference, call 12 p.m. Eastern. Immediate response refoidered. No polite language, no corporate pleasantries, just panic and capital letters. I joined the call at 11:57 a.m. Professional appearance. Calm demeanor. Sitting in my home workshop with my quality certifications visible in the background. The screen filled with stressed executives in various stages of crisis management. Eddie Brooks, some kind of senior VP, joined first, sleeves rolled up, the expression of a man who'd spent the last 2 hours in emergency meetings. Then came legal counsel. 2 attorneys, one taking rapid notes, the other reviewing documents on a second monitor. Tony Martinez, the quality supervisor I'd worked with during original implementation, appeared next, looking exhausted but unsurprised, like he'd been expecting this conversation for weeks. Linda Foster was already in the call when I connected, positioned in a small window at the bottom of the screen, muted microphone, tight body language that suggested she'd been removed from leadership of her own crisis. Nobody said hello. Eddie cleared his throat and launched straight into damage control. "Carl, appreciate you joining on short notice. We're dealing with what appears to be a significant operational disruption. Our entire quality network is essentially paralyzed, and we need to understand our options for immediate restoration." I nodded once, fingers automatically adjusting my micrometer. "Your service agreement was terminated yesterday. If you want operational access restored, the terms are outlined in my emergency proposal." One of the attorneys leaned into her camera. "Carl, we've reviewed your proposal. Some of the financial terms seem disproportionate given the circumstances." "Emergency response pricing," I replied. "Standard practice when critical infrastructure fails during business hours." Tony spoke up, his voice tight with controlled stress. "Carl, we've got 8 facilities completely offline, quality backing up across 4 states. Customer audits accumulating penalty violations by the hour." He glanced at something off-screen. 2 major customers have called threatening contract termination if we don't restore normal operations by Monday morning. Eddie jumped back in. "Look, we understand there may have been some miscommunication during the transition process, but we need to focus on solutions here. Can we discuss modification of the emergency terms?" "No." The single word hung in the digital space. No explanation, no negotiation, no corporate back and forth, just a simple statement of fact. Linda finally unmuted her microphone. "This is unreasonable, Carl. You're holding our entire operation hostage over a contract dispute." I looked directly into the camera, feeling the familiar weight of precision tools in my pocket. "You terminated my services and demanded handover of infrastructure you never purchased. I provided exactly what your contract entitled you to receive. Nothing more, nothing less." She started to respond, but Eddie cut her off with a sharp look. One of the attorneys tried a different approach. "Would you consider a modified payment structure? Perhaps installments over a specified period? Wire transfer only, full payment before reactivation." Tony leaned forward. "Carl, what's the timeline for restoration once payment clears?" 20 minutes, I said. "System comes back online immediately after I confirm funds transfer." Eddie looked at his legal team, then back at the camera. "We need 8 minutes to discuss internally." "Can you hold?" I nodded. "I'll be here." They clicked into a breakout room, leaving me alone on the call with Linda's muted video square. She stared at the camera like she wanted to say something. Didn't. 6 minutes later, they returned to the main call. Eddie's expression had shifted from desperation to resignation. "Legal is initiating the wire transfer now. Should complete within 25 minutes. "Let me know when it hits my account," I said. 23 minutes later, my banking app chimed with an incoming transfer notification. "Payment confirmed. Amount correct. No complications." I walked out to my workshop, sat down at the master calibration console, and flipped the synchronization switch back to active position. Every screen in my garage lit up with green indicators. Quality nodes reconnecting in sequence, tolerance algorithms resuming. Precision monitoring coming back online. Measurement synchronization updating in real time. The 8-facility quality network came back to life, like someone had just restarted the circulatory system of a major manufacturing operation. I returned to the video call where everyone was still waiting. "System is operational," I announced, "all services restored." For the next 96 hours, I monitored system performance from my kitchen table. Everything ran flawlessly. No emails, no phone calls, no requests for system modifications. They'd learned to stay quiet. On Tuesday morning, a new email arrived. Strategic partnership discussion, revised terms proposal from Pete Richardson, VP of Strategic Operations. The offer was substantial. 7-year exclusive contract with enhanced compensation and equity participation. 2 weeks later, the signed contract arrived, every clause exactly as I'd written it. Linda Foster's name was nowhere on the signature page. Word travels fast in quality circles. By month's end, I'd received inquiries from Detroit, Cleveland, and Louisville companies. They'd heard what happened when someone tried to take precision infrastructure from someone who understood ownership. If you're listening to this and you've ever built something valuable, remember this: protect what you create. Read every contract. Know the difference between licensing access and surrendering ownership. And when someone tries to take what's yours, don't get loud. Just smile and say, "I'm afraid I can't do that. It's not yours to take." Quality isn't an app or a spreadsheet. It's precision, it's expertise. It's years of understanding how things actually work. The real power isn't in owning the factory. It's in being the only one who truly understands what keeps the measurements accurate. Because in the end, they don't pay you for what you know. They pay you for what they can't do without you.
I'm freezing. I'm bleeding. Slowly fading away. But don't worry, I'm fine. The cold has settled in my heartbeat, like winter living in my veins. Every breath feels numb and fragile. Every smile just hides the pain. I'm breaking quietly in silence, falling slow without a sound. Yet I keep saying I'm okay, while my world burns to the ground. I'm frozen here, I'm bleeding slowly, dying piece by piece inside. But I still whisper, it's alright, just to keep you from goodbye. I'm shattered, love, but don't you worry, I'll pretend till my last breath. Even while my soul is fading, I'll say everything's okay. Maybe pain just learned to live here. Maybe sorrow feels like home. So I wear my wounds like armor and survive them all alone. I'm frozen here, I'm bleeding slowly, dying piece by piece inside. But I still whisper, it's alright, just to keep you from goodbye. I'm shattered, love, but don't you worry, I'll pretend till my last breath. Even while my soul is fading, I'll say everything's okay. If you ever see me smiling, no, it's just my last defense. 'Cause sometimes love means hiding how much you're suffering. No, I'm frozen here, I'm bleeding slowly, dying piece by piece inside. But I still whisper, it's alright, just to keep you from goodbye. I'm shattered, love, but don't you worry, I'll pretend till my last breath. Even while my soul is fading, I'll say everything's okay. It's okay. They say just forget. Move on like it's easy. But forgetting you feels like remembering someone I've never seen. I've been trying to erase you from the places in my mind, but the harder that I fight it, the more you're hard to leave behind. Every memory keeps slipping through the cracks I try to close, like a face I should remember, but somehow never know. Forgetting you feels impossible, like chasing something I can't hold, like trying to remember someone that I've never even known. I keep reaching through the silence for a past I can't undo, 'cause letting go of what we had feels like losing something true. Every moment turns to fragments, every thought just fades to blue, like I'm searching for a feeling that still only leads to you. Forgetting you feels impossible, like chasing something I can't hold, like trying to remember someone that I've never even known. I keep reaching through the silence for a past I can't undo, 'cause letting go of what we had feels like losing something true. But now every empty moment still reminds me what is real. Forgetting you feels impossible, like chasing something I can't hold, like trying to remember someone that I've never even known. I keep reaching through the silence for a past I can't undo, 'cause letting go of what we had feels like losing something true.